course, professionals in various fields of endeavour have been speaking to young minds to believe more in Nigeria and discountenance the thoughts of seeking success abroad. The professionals insist that hard work and determination are key to success in Nigeria. They were speaking at a gathering in Lagos organised by SWOT Talks.
Business school or something like that.
15th edition in 3 years. Stories worth telling. SWOT Talks is an NGO that has concentrated on impacting young minds to find a path in life.
Because people learn the best experience really for learning is through listening to other people's stories. It's always good for us to awaken that spirit in each and every one of us.
Growth for Africa's best companies.
The storytelling session is made up of homegrown professionals of various fields of endeavors. Their success stories are wrapped around Nigeria and its resources.
You know, I was in SS1 and I did biology and I realized that, I don't like biology. But if you put me in a math class, I knew I could pass math without even reading at all. So in my choosing, I chose things that were aligned with my strengths. What are your strengths? Every time I would have a 5, 10 and 15-year plan. At the time I became a CEO 5 years ago for the first time. That was FBN Securities. I had written down 5 years ago that I wanted to be a CEO by the time I was 35.
All my degrees, everything you see there were from Nigeria. I didn't go abroad to get them. They may have been by correspondence. And this tool you have can get you anything you want. You can get your Harvard education from here. So for the young people, don't despair. Know what you want to go for and get it.
I'll just talk about my story.
Shola Akinlade's story is riveting. The 34-year-old CEO and co-founder of Paystack, an online and offline payment system, is a software engineer.
Sometime in 2015, I started building software for banks. And then it just occurred to me that there's an opportunity to build a payments company. And so I started working on Paystack. Thankfully, sometime at the end of November 2015-ish, I got invited into a program. It's called Y Combinator. So they invite founders from all over the world working on interesting things. I applied from Lagos. I got the email. They said, come to San Francisco. Like, okay, let's do this. So my co-founder and I, Ezra, we went to school together. So we got on a flight. I got to San Francisco. To be honest, my ambition was just to take a photo in front of Welcome to San Francisco and come back. So we really didn't have a lot of hopes. When we got there, we saw a lot of people from different countries working on amazing things. But we made it, and we got $120,000 to start a company.
Every quarter, SWOT Talks helps to inform, inspire and influence minds, giving a clearer perspective of success through hard work, dedication and determination. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.
A classical example that hard work does pay. You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's switch over to business news now with Kayode Okikiolu.
Thank you, Gimba, and you're welcome to Business News. We begin with Nigeria's manufacturing sector, which maintains its steady expansion, rising for the 30th consecutive month. According to the Purchasing Managers Index survey, which was released today by the Central Bank, the manufacturing PMI expanded to 57.7 index points in September. However, the report shows that the index grew at a slower rate when compared to the index level in August, with the growth rate recorded in 13 of the 14 subsectors surveyed. Well, similarly, the non-manufacturing sector's composite PMI expanded for the 29th consecutive month to 58.0 points, indicating a slower rate compared to its level last month, with growth recorded in 14 out of 17 subsectors surveyed. And a member of President Buhari's new Economic Advisory Council has been speaking about the aim of the team, which was constituted last week. Mr. Bismarck Rouane, who is a CEO of financial derivatives company, says the goal is to ensure tangible deliverables and improve the standard of living of Nigerians in 2020 and the year after.
The real challenge is how to make this advice implemented and how to make this implementation impactful, tangible deliverables to the people of Nigeria. Anything short of lower unemployment, anything short of growth, anything short of quality of life and improvement of standard of living will be a theoretical exercise. The truth is that if we cannot deliver and make people happier next year than they were this year, and make them happier than that in the following year, then there's no point. We might as well forget it. I think that with private sector participation in refining, which is social infrastructure, critical infrastructure, a combination of both private and public partnership will help. But what is important that Nigerians should stop. We will not have to queue for petrol, and Nigerians don't have to pay a very high price. And we've seen that because the borders were closed, we're down to 50 million liters a day rather than 60 million, and it's going to go lower.
And elsewhere, the world's oldest travel firm, Thomas Cook, has announced its bankruptcy and eventual collapse today after failing to secure a deal with creditors or government bailout. The liquidation marks the end of a British company which started in 1841, running local rail excursions and grew to pioneer the family package holiday across Europe, America, Africa, and the Middle East. The company's collapse caused hundreds of thousands of holidaymakers around the globe to be stranded today and sparked the largest peacetime repatriation effort in British history. Until its demise, Thomas Cook runs hotels, resorts, and airlines for 19 million people a year in 16 countries. And out to the stock market, where sentiment kicks off the final trading week of September downbeat as impact of sell pressure hits key components across 4 key sectors of the NSE. Now let's get details from Edidion Iwan.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The market began the last trading week in the month of September on a lackluster note as the all-share index ended the day negative by 0.15% and the equity cap lower by 20 billion naira. Now looking at the sectoral chart, we see that all the sectors we track closed negative except the banking index, which gained 0.16%. The banking sector's performance is evident on the list of top trades as shares of FBN Holdings and Access Bank were the most traded. Total turnover of shares traded today were lower as 109.56 million shares worth 888 million naira changed hands in 3,382 deals. And these are the top 3 gainers and losers for the day. Well, that's a summary of trading at the Nigerian equities market. I'm Edidion Iwang.
Thank you for watching Business News Tonight. I am Kayode Okikelu. The news at 10 continues with Kimba.
You First. First Bank.
Thanks, Kayode. Human rights activists claim that at least 500 people have been detained in Egypt over the days of protests against alleged government corruption. The protesters have been calling for President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to leave. There has been increased security presence in most cities across the country. Here's Simon Puse with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. A special climate summit organised by the Secretary-General of the UN has opened in New York for the very first time. Antonio Guterres expects leaders to come with new and ambitious plans to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. The Prime Ministers of New Zealand, India and Germany will all speak, as will the French President Emmanuel Macron. Youth activists, including Greta Thunberg, will also address delegates. Ahead of the one-day summit, scientists have warned the signs and impacts of global warming were speeding up. The World Meteorological Organization said the amount of carbon dioxide going into the atmosphere between 2015 and 2019 had grown by 20% compared to the previous 5 years. Meanwhile, one of the world leaders who isn't attending, Donald Trump, landed at New York's JFK Airport ahead of the United Nations General Assembly. It's thought the US president will seek to use the gathering of world leaders to build support to take on Iran and call out China over human rights abuses. It comes after tens of thousands of Indian Americans packed into Houston Stadium on Sunday, where the president held a rally with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The event marked a rare mass show of support for a foreign leader on US soil, giving Mr. Modi a chance to energize his relationship with Indian Americans. Modi called Trump a great American president. The first of 155,000 British tourists are being flown back to the UK after travel agent Thomas Cook collapsed. The liquidation of the world's oldest travel firm has left tens of thousands of holidaymakers around the globe, sparking the largest peacetime repatriation effort in British history. Here, hundreds of tourists waited for hours at Mallorca's Palma Airport without information about how they could return. The Civil Aviation Authority is in charge of bringing people home.
This is a huge operation, 150,000 people currently abroad. We've chartered over 40 aircraft, and those aircraft are already in position, and then in the next few hours we'll start bringing passengers home.
Thomas Cook, going into administration, puts 22,000 jobs at risk worldwide, including 9,000 in the UK. It's thought the UK government was asked to fund a bailout of £250 million, which it denied. Here, staff of the company's Nottingham branch were seen leaving the office with bags and locking the door behind them. The boss of the firm said the collapse was a matter of profound regret.
Sorry to all our customers, those who are on holiday with us now and those who have booked with us in the coming months. It is deeply distressing to me that it has not been possible to save one of the most loved brands in travel.
7 children have died and at least 57 have been injured after a classroom collapsed in the capital, Nairobi. Kenyatta National Hospital later said on Twitter 64 students had been sent to the hospital. Rescue workers sifted through metal sheeting and slabs of concrete at the Precious Talent School. The cause was not immediately known, but authorities have previously warned that 30,000 to 40,000 buildings erected without approval in Nairobi are still at risk of collapse. Skies over an Indonesian province turned red over the weekend due to the widespread forest fires which have plagued huge parts of the country. Every year, fires in Indonesia create a smoky haze that can end up blanketing the entire Southeast Asian region. Air quality in certain regions have reached its worst recorded level since 2015. On Monday, boards displaying air quality readings showed air quality levels at over 300 psi. A reading above psi 100 is considered to be unhealthy. Britain's Prince Harry and his wife Meghan have begun their first overseas tour on Monday since the birth of their first child. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have started their 10-day tour in South Africa, where they were treated to a welcoming dance and greeted by local school children. They're beginning their tour in Nyanga, a township known as the country's murder capital. They are expected to meet Archbishop Desmond Tutu and other dignitaries later. Prince Harry will also travel alone to Malawi, Botswana and Angola, where he will pay tribute to his mother, Princess Diana's anti-landmine campaign. And finally, medieval drama Game of Thrones and British comedy Fleabag took top honours at the Emmy Awards on a night of upsets.
And the Emmy goes to
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Fleabag actress and creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge also took the trophy for Best Comedy Actress. Television personality Kim Kardashian and her sister model Kendall Jenner presented the award for Best Competition Programme, which was won by RuPaul's Drag Race. And that's your international news around the world in 5.